I don't know how to do this video without my bias towards the hatred of Kentucky that I have showing. I'm going to try my best to not show the hatred of Kentucky that I have, but it is honestly one of my least favorite, if not my least favorite track on the Cup Series schedule. It just doesn't fit at all. It's another 1.5 mile track. It's the newest 1.5 mile track they add onto the schedule, and then they repaved it and it made it even worse. It was bad before then. They made it even worse after the repave.
It wasn't great, I'll be honest. First and second stage made me want to fall asleep. Because I saw a stat somewhere that within the first 100 laps of the race, there were only 2 green flag passes for the lead. Ironically, maybe those 2 green flag passes for the lead happened on pit cycles, but it wasn't great the first 2 stages. In fact, it was subpar. It was horrible the first 2 stages. It was bland. Everything was missing from those races, or from those stages. Stage 3 was a little bit better, but it wasn't anything. 2 great laps, 2 great, fantastic laps do not help a race that was bad as that.
Kentucky has never had a great race. It never will with this repave. If it has a great race, I will be shocked, and that will happen in 15 years. I went in there with no expectations for the race whatsoever. Since I hate Kentucky, I knew it was just going to be like it was. I went in there thinking, okay, whatever happens, happens. Not expecting anything out of this. I'm expecting single file, cars sliding around because there's no grip. And I was kind of surprised.
Kentucky, which is always every season my least favorite race, or the race I look forward to the least. I have never liked Kentucky since 2011 when it's been added onto the schedule. It has not had a great race. It hasn't really had a good race. You may ask, well, what about 2019? I'll get to 2019.
If you were on Discord and saw my comments all throughout heading up to Kentucky, I was miserable. I was like, oh, Kentucky, single file, who loves repaves? I was making some very sarcastic comments about repaves in Kentucky and stuff. It's in my mind, the worst track on the schedule. I have to say that right now. Kentucky is the worst track on the schedule, in my opinion. So for people that went into that race expecting great racing and a great finish and whatnot, you were smoking something, because Kentucky's never going to provide that until that track gets worn out somehow. The best race at Kentucky that I can remember was 2015. And even then, that was only an okay race. That wasn't even anything great. And that was, fun fact, the first race where they used the low downforce package.
I see heartbreak, disappointment, and tears.
Is it Kentucky Speedway?
Yes.
I think it's pretty evident from that stuff right there that I hate Kentucky, and that Kentucky is my least favorite track on the Cup Series, and maybe just NASCAR schedule in general. So since I've crapped on it so much, maybe I should try and mend the relationship with it. Maybe I should kind of say some nice things about it. So I've given myself a challenge here today. Those last 2 videos that I just showed you, the one was 14 minutes long, the one was 10 minutes long. So I crapped on Kentucky for about 25 minutes, give or take a few seconds. So I'm going to give myself 5 minutes here, and I'm going to see if I can say good things about Kentucky Speedway for 5 minutes. It's going to be a challenge. We'll see if I can do it. So we're getting the clock ready. 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, Kentucky. Where do I start? You're the newest track on the schedule. That's cool. You've provided some dynamic in the schedule that wasn't there before you were there. You're the newest track. You were here in 2011. When was the last time we had a track before 2011? 10 years ago in 2001. So that's cool. You're the newest track on the schedule. I can appreciate that. That's you're something different. And hey, before you repaved, you had a lot of bumps. You had some characteristics in you, let me tell you. And that pothole on the apron is still there. Trust me, I run it over you all the time in Heat 4. Add some characteristics, man. Make the drivers drive some harder. You repaved the track. Hey, you know what? That's good for you. You got some new pavement. It obviously shows that the people who own you care about you, and that they want you to survive for longer, and that they don't want drivers to get concussions every time they run over your horrible bumps on the straightaways and on the apron. And hey, 2016, you had a great fuel mileage finish. You had drivers coming down pit road because they didn't have enough fuel, and you had Brad Keselowski snooker Carl Edwards on the end because he quote ran out of fuel. But he didn't run out of fuel. He actually just snookered Carl Edwards to get back around to the checkered flag in front. So that was cool. That was one of your best finishes. And oh, by the way, you debuted the low downforce package, which I so adore, in 2015. You were the first race with that package in 2015. And hey, guess what? That was maybe your best race ever. I mean, man, that race was excellent. 2015 Quaker State 400 debuted the low downforce package that we used for a few years, and let me tell you, that's the package I love the most. So you debuted that. You were the sole contributor to that low downforce package. Listen, that's something to be proud of. That's amazing. And oh, by the way, all your winners, right? They're all Cup champions. No one has won at your track without being a Cup champion. Just think of the winners: Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth. The list goes on and on. And hey, most of them have K's except for Truex. Maybe if we can name a Truex, they would all have K's. Keselowski's won there. Truex has won there. Kurt Busch, they're all Cup champions. So it obviously shows that your track, that track needs some skill to drive at and to win at because only Cup champions have won there. You know, you aren't the worst race every season. I mean, that's a positive. You sometimes have good races. 2019, how about that? Let's talk about that finish in 2019. Two amazing laps in turn 65, mediocre ones, but two amazing laps, and the two best laps of the season, and a top 10 finish for the decade. You know, that Kurt and Kyle battle, that's going to go down in history as one of the best battles in NASCAR, let me tell you. Side by side for two straight laps. I mean, come on now. They were three wide going into turn 3, come to the white flag. What more could you want? That was amazing. That just awesome, you know, and the thrilling beating and banging to the checkered flag, the crowd going crazy. And speaking of the crowd, you get great crowds every single race. You pull in some people, you have more people than Texas does. And let me tell you, Texas is barren. But you get so many people there every single race. Your fans obviously love you. You're in an untapped market that, you know, there's not another racetrack in NASCAR in Kentucky, so people have to go there. And guess what? They show up and they support you. I like that about you. That shows dedication to those fans. They will do whatever they want to keep NASCAR in their home state. And I like that. I like that about those people from the bluegrass state. Oh, by the way, why isn't your grass blue? I just want to know. And you also were home to one of the funniest moments in NASCAR. What was it, 2017 or 2018? Your sprinklers came on in the middle of the race. That was pretty hysterical, not going to lie. Seeing sprinklers go off during the race, someone messed up, but it was a really funny moment, so I appreciate that because it adds some humor to maybe a race that wasn't so great. But that doesn't mean you're a bad racetrack. That just means that every track has bad races, you know, Kentucky, and just sometimes you get it more often than others. Maybe you're getting them all out of the way early on, and then later in your career you're gonna have some great races. Let me tell you, you're gonna be amazing. And how about like when they do all those commercials? Turn 3 is the hardest corner in NASCAR. That's something to be proud of, you know. Turn 3, the hardest corner in NASCAR. I mean, damn, when the drivers go there and think they're shitting their pants because of how hard turn 3 is, that's quite an amazing, you know, just kind of stat you have there, that you have the hardest corner in NASCAR. Don't know who said you did, but obviously they mean it because you wouldn't just be given that award for no reason. I mean, hell, there's corners like at Pocono, the tunnel turn in Indianapolis that are 90-degree corners, but this corner is apparently the hardest, so congratulations on that. You also have some cool strategy at some points because your tires don't wear out the track. People can take two tires and get up to the front and kind of cycle through, and it could change the running order a lot. So that's cool as well. It just kind of shakes up the running order, and it makes things more interesting and fresh at the front. Not the same drivers always at the front. You know, that's definitely very, very interesting for sure. Love to see it. All right, time's up. Thank Christ. We'll dismiss that. Happy April Fool's Day, everyone. That hurt physically and mentally to say all that stuff. So I'm gonna go, I think, wash my mouth out with soap and water. Never thought I would have said those things about Kentucky. It hurt to say. So maybe the one thing I meant were the fans. Kentucky has some dedicated fans, man, let me tell you. So Yeah, happy April Fool's Day, everyone. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.